Hey everybody, it's Kneecap here, and in this video, we're going to be talking about Ret Paladins and specifically the Magistrate's Judgement Legendary. This is kind of a follow-up from my Ret First Update video, but this is not a guide by any means. It's more just a callback to that and catching up because I didn't have the Legendary at the time of that video. And so I just wanted to give some input after having it now for a week. Last week, I was able to craft my rank 4 Magistrate's Judgement. Legendary is my third rank 4. I did want to do the prot one for PvP, but I had to try this out, and honestly, I'm glad I did, and I'll talk about that for a little bit. So, this is, it's a decent legendary all around. Judgment has a 75% chance to reduce the cost of your next holy power spender by 1. 75% chance is really high. That's not very RNG. It's not very slot machine. It's pretty common to happen, right? So 75% chance is really good, and that basically gives you the feeling that of like one of the legendaries from Legion, where your holy power spenders would cost 1 less or whatever. And so it's very similar to that, and it has that feel. If you like that feel, you will love this legendary. I personally love that feel, and I love this legendary. I'm pretty good at, knowing my holy power on the fly. So when things cost less, like it doesn't usually overwhelm me to know what to click next, and that's probably from playing in Legion, honestly. So like if it only costs 2 holy power, let's say, a verdict costs 2 holy power, and I use it, so I go from 5 to 3. I now either, if I have everything to my disposal, I can either just cast another one really quick, or I naturally know just to use Blade of Justice there to fill back up to 5 immediately. So as long as you can kind of get the hang of that, it's really good because it just feels really good. Now, obviously, the throughput on it does not simulate the best. Compared to like Mad Paragon, for example, and even like Relentless Inquisitor sims really good for most people. Obviously, everything doesn't apply to everybody, but this is really good with Kyrian. And why is it really good with Kyrian? Because if you're a Kyrian Ret Paladin and you're not playing the Execution Sentence, Seraphim, Final Reckoning, then you might be doing fine, but you're probably not doing as well as you could be doing, at least on specific polls. I also like to use the Fires of Justice with this legendary as well, even though this one is a bit slot machine, which I'll talk about as well. So what's really cool about this, and this helped my DPS a lot. Obviously, the biggest thing that helped my DPS was just finally getting a weapon, but having this setup really helped my DPS and parsing out. I'm still not quite where I shoot for legendary parses, right? So I'm still only like high epics mostly, except for like Shriekwing or something. So I do need to do better still, but this has helped a lot. There is some RNG involved, so you do have to get the right pull to really maximize it. But it feels really good when it when it works, and you just hope the boss dies on that pull, because you can just I mean, first of all, you're at like the top of the damage meter, and you just kind of know that this pull is your pull because you're getting really lucky. With the RNG, you're having every judgment proc, and then if you're using Fires of Justice talent, that's happening what feels like way more than 15% of the time, and it just feels really good. So why this is so good for Kyrian Ret Paladins, especially with this talent setup, is because, first of all, you have Divine Toll, which casts Judgment. So you get multiple uses of your Magistrate's Judgment. And then you also are just pumping as much damage into your Execution Sentence as possible. So when stuff costs less Holy Power, naturally, you get to use more Holy Power spenders in general. And especially during Heroism, so during a pull where you pop Heroism on pull, this is extremely powerful. You have a chance to really hit a very, very large execution sentence on pull like that with your opener, with your potion. If you have everything rolling, you're going to hit a humongous execution sentence there, and it feels great. Like I said, there's some classes that are just stronger than Red, of course, but you'll be at the top of the damage meter or close to it when everything hits right. So overall, it's just really. It's a really fun legendary to use. I do recommend it if you are playing Kyrian Ret, for sure. It's actually fun to use in PvP too. Obviously, maybe it's not the best PvP legendary, and I have mine more optimized for raid stats, but it's actually really cool in there too. Again, for bursts. I'm not a PvP master by any means, but I really like having this talent setup. I know a lot of the high end don't use execution sentence, but I really like having this talent setup to have a strong go every single minute, every minute on the minute, and being able to pump more damage in the execution sentence every minute can be quite powerful. Again, I realize that's not like what the absolute high end people are doing, but it's still pretty cool and pretty fun to do, regardless. So, and if you are, I mean, if you are using this legendary for PvP, you might as well use execution sentence with it, just because of how well they tie in together. And I think that's the best thing and the biggest takeaway to talk about in this video is that they just go so well together. This talent setup, this legendary, everything just kind of feels really good together. When you first start this talent setup, it feels a little bit clunky because you're doing a ton of setup. You have basically 5 moves that you just use every minute, and it feels a bit clunky at first, and then plus like a trinket, for example, so like technically 6 things, and so it feels a bit clunky. But it feels really great as well. Another thing, just if you don't know, the PvP, mine's only 213, don't laugh at me, but the PvP trinket is really, really good. The one that gives critical strike and then use primary stat, has a 1 minute cooldown. Why is that good? Because it lines up with execution sentence and final reckoning. So it's a really powerful trinket. I actually just have mine macroed in with Seraphim if you want a hint there, because you start your thing with Seraphim, so I actually macro mine in there. You do lose a little bit of uptime by doing that, but it works well for me, just for ease. If easiness is important to you, you could also macro it in with. I mean, Seraphim's probably pretty good actually to put it in with. Obviously, just using it individually when you're ready to actually start popping your damage is better, but yeah, it's actually not a bad one if you're going to macro it into anything. So yeah, that's about it for this video. Just want to give a little bit of a callback to the red update video, because I was talking about the Magistrate's Judgment in there, and yeah, I highly recommend using it if you're already Kyrian and you're playing Ret. Craft the Magistrate's Judgment legendary, and you probably will have fun playing it. If that's a huge importance to you, and you still can do good parses and still do good damage as well, so that's good. So if having fun is high on your priority list, I highly recommend it. So as always, I do ask you to subscribe to the channel because that helps me out so much. And other than that, everybody have a good one.